Robomate Plus, India's largest curriculum-based study app. Download the app now.
Hello students, my name is Nilesh Bhatt. Welcome to this final guidance lecture of mathematics. I'm sure all of you must be very busy right now preparing for the oncoming prelim exams and trying to finish the syllabus in one go. Lot of queries must be bogging you down. Where to study from? What to study? How much to study? How to present the answers in board paper? Now these queries may be pulling your energy level down. So my dear students, that's the reason we have designed this special guidance lecture which will give you clarity on all these points. So let's get started. Initially in this session, we are going to discuss what is the section-wise weightage of your syllabus, which are the important type of sums which are frequently asked in board exam from different sections, from different chapters. Next, we are also going to see the paper pattern. We're going to discuss how to manage time and how to finish off your paper much before time so that you can save time for rechecking. We are also going to discuss some very fine points of paper presentation. And finally, my dear students, when you are very near to the board exam, in your final hours before board exam, how to do the revision of entire syllabus with the help of Robomate Plus. So these are the points that we are going to discuss in this session. And I'm sure once we do this discussion, it will give you the confidence that you require to meet your board exams bang on. So now students, let us begin with the first part of our discussion, that is section-wise weightage. We have divided the chapters of your syllabus into different sections, wherein the first one is the section of commercial mathematics. And you can say that there are 3 chapters in this particular section: banking, shares and dividend, and GST. As shown in this table, you can expect around 5 questions from this particular section, weighing around 16 marks. Now next I'm going to show you from each of these chapters which are the important type of questions which are repeatedly asked in board exam. Let us go to the first chapter from this section, that is banking. As we discussed, you can expect around 2 questions here, 3 marks each, so total weightage 6 marks. Now what are these questions which are normally repeatedly asked in board exam? So if you recall, in banking chapter you've studied a formula. That is a formula of maturity value. And in this formula, there are 4 quantities which are related. Now these 4 quantities are maturity value, the monthly installment that you pay into your recurring deposit account, which is denoted by capital P, the rate of interest which the bank offers you, which is denoted by small r, and the number of months, that is a time period in number of months, which is denoted by small n. Now, if you recall in this chapter, there are various type of sums where out of these 4 quantities, 3 are given to you and the 4th one you have to find. So you can have one such sum where you have to find out the maturity value, and you can expect such a question for 3 marks. Or maybe you can have a question where you have to find out the rate of interest. Here maturity value is already known. You have to find out the rate of interest. Now, similarly, you can have a question where you have to find out the monthly installment, that is capital P. Or you may get a question where you have to find out the time period. And remember, time period in these sums is in terms of number of months, which we denote by small n. And this one is very, very important. So you can expect 2 such questions for 3 marks each from banking chapter. Let's move on to the next chapter, which is shares and dividend. You will have 1 question from this chapter for 3 marks. In shares and dividend, you have studied 3 very important formulae. The first formula is for the number of shares, where what you do is you divide the money invested by the market value of each share and you get the number of shares. Once you get the number of shares, you can find out the income which the company will give you based on those number of shares which you own. And the formula for income, as you studied in this chapter, is number of shares into rate of dividend into face value. And the third formula that you studied was for income percentage or return percentage, which is income upon investment into 100. So based on these three formulae, you get a very typical question in board exam where all these formulae are applied. So if you see this sum, the first part that they are asking you to find here is the number of shares. And if you observe the question well, they have already given you the sum invested, which is rupees 20,020. Now, the value, the face value, market value of the shares can also be found here. Face value is given ready-made and they have mentioned the premium, so you can also find out the market value. So very easy to find market value, and they have given us the sum invested, so you can easily find number of shares. Once you get number of shares, you can find out the dividend, which is the income. And once you get the value of income, you can find out the income percentage or the rate of interest. So you can expect one such typical question from this particular chapter. There is another very important concept in this chapter, and that is the concept of sale proceeds. So you can have one such sum in your board exam. Let us move on to the next chapter, which is GST, and this is a new chapter in our syllabus. So let us understand well what type of sums they may ask from this particular chapter. You may get around 2 questions from this chapter for 3 marks and 3 marks, or maybe for 3 marks and 4 marks. So the weightage is 6 marks or 7 marks. Now you may get a question in tabular form. So here in this question, if you observe, the cost of certain services are mentioned and a discount is also mentioned. So first and foremost, you will have to find out the discounted cost. Add the discounted cost of all the services. They have also mentioned the rate of GST. So next you have to find out the GST at this particular rate on the total discounted cost. And once you add that GST to the original cost of the services, you will get the total amount of bill. So you can expect one such sum. This is another tabular question, but here if you observe, the transaction is of some different nature. It is an interstate transaction. So you can either have an intrastate transaction or an interstate transaction. You have to read the question very carefully for this. Next, you may have a word problem from this particular chapter. For example, here we have a very simple word problem where if you observe, they have given us the amount of GST. They have also given us the rate of GST. Rate of GST is given, amount of GST is given. You have to find out the original cost. And then you have to find out the final cost which we obtain after adding GST to the original cost. So one such word problem you can expect in your exam. You can have a very special type of word problem as I have shown here, where you have a chain of dealers. So if you observe here, there is a dealer in Lucknow who is selling goods or services to a dealer in Indore, and there is a dealer in Indore who in turn is selling this to a dealer in Bhopal. So you have interstate as well as intrastate transactions happening here, and the rate of GST is also mentioned. They may mention discount, so you will have to find out the discounted cost, and with the help of rate of GST you can find out the total amount which are payable by different dealers here. So you can get one such sum. Or you may have a word problem of this type for 4 marks. Now, if you see this question carefully, they have given us the amount of GST here, and they have also given us the rate of GST. So the cost at which the item or the goods here are being sold, that cost you will have to find. And once you get that cost, you can also find out the total price which will be paid by the shopkeeper here. So you can expect one such sum from GST. So total 2 questions for GST. Now these are all the various type of important sums which can be asked in your board exam from the section of commercial mathematics. In the next module, we will go to further sections.
Thank you for watching this video lecture. To watch more such interesting videos, attempt tests, and to get instant analysis, download the Robomate Plus app now.